The gods save, but you all take full damage. Hello there everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire. Joining me today is my most adorable co-host, Finn, gaining instruction from Katie's classroom. Absolutely incredible. The curious little tyke is babbling and finding his voice, and is just absolutely adorable, but getting into everything. Hence the colorful baby gate surrounding this area. And this will enable me to continue on with our guide today, taking a look at the first edition Pathfinder Cleric. Today we're just going to be going over their skills. Next time around we're going to go over feats, just because I feel like I'm probably going to need to tackle feats just a little bit differently and give just a little extra time, because the Cleric is such a class of so many different possibilities that you're going to want a different selection of feats for different situations and, well, possibilities for your builds. But before we get into all of that, if you're new here to the channel, go on down there, hit the subscribe button, and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Or if you've already gone on ahead and listed yourself on such an incredible roster of legendary heroes, then go on down to hit the like button and share the video far and wide. Now, let's go ahead and start talking about your skills, and starting off at the very top, we have Appraise. Working from your intelligence, this skill will allow you to identify the value of different items and if they're magical or not. This will also allow you to detect counterfeit items as well. Overall, probably not a skill we're really going to invest in, and it's doubly so here for us with our Cleric build, because, as we've talked about, you only get so many skill points per level, 2 plus your intelligence modifier. Throw in an additional 1 if you're human, and if you're occasionally taking a skill rank as part of your favorite class bonus each that you can pick from each level, then, maybe you're getting, 5, 4 perhaps, if you're decreasing your intelligence a little bit. So overall, Appraise is definitely a skill we're going to be looking at skipping overall. Next is Diplomacy, working off of Charisma, which is our dump stat. This allows you to persuade the target that you're speaking with, or targets, smooth things over, or gather information. It is a useful skill for a face, but we're not building to be a face. Next, we have the Heal skill, working from your Wisdom score. This is heal checks to treat injuries, including incredibly serious injuries, things like that. This will also help to enhance your natural healing rate if you're resting after an adventure and not using a whole lot of magic. Now, depending on your build, this may be more or less important. Every cleric that is channeling positive energy, at least, should be able to use magical healing, and the party is probably going to invest in magic wands in most instances, but certainly this isn't something that is going to hurt. You throw 1 skill rank into this, you get that +3 miscellaneous bonus to the healing skill, and with a good wisdom score, you might be sitting at a 7 or an 8 starting right off the bat with this particular skill. Also, following that, we have Knowledge Arcana, working from our intelligence score. Identify magic beasts, dragons, constructs, ancient mysteries, and arcane symbols. These knowledge skills are incredibly important. Identifying different opponents and creatures that you might be coming across is going to be very, very essential for you and your party. Now, whether or not you pick this up is also going to depend a bit on your party's composition. Do you have a bard? Do you have an investigator? Somebody else that might have this? If so, then you can probably get away with focusing your skill points elsewhere. Then, going off of that, we also get Knowledge History, which is working from our intelligence. City foundings, major events, wars, things like that. That's what Knowledge History is going to cover. It can be pretty useful, certainly in my own campaigns it is, but that's going to be relatively situational from DM to DM, so ask them a bit about it first. Same goes for Knowledge Nobility, also working from intelligence. In fact, all the knowledge skills will be. This skill covers knowing royalty, their heraldry, personalities, bloodlines, etc., things of that nature. Again, Situationally useful usually is in my campaigns, but not every campaign is going to be focusing on it. If you're out on the fringes away from power centers where royalty and nobility are more likely to have gathered, if you're out on fringe border towns delving into lost ruins and ancient dungeons, this probably isn't going to come up so much. Knowledge history might, but knowledge nobility much less likely. Then we have knowledge of planes, also going from intelligence. This is knowing all the planes, their magics and outsiders, the effects that the different planes have. This can be incredibly important, and it does make sense for a cleric to know it, particularly since you're worshipping a deity or a whole pantheon of deities, potentially. Then knowledge religion, which is going to be even more applicable than planes. This is religious customs, deities, holy symbols, and the like. So knowing which plane your deity resides on is going to be important and probably fall under knowledge religion, but knowing the intrinsic ins and outs of particular deities, what their spheres of influence are, their powers and abilities, or general things like that. That is definitely going to fall under the sway of religion. Also, knowledge religion is what allows you to identify undead as well. So that again will also be important, doubly so if you're going to be in a campaign that focuses on fighting or dealing with the undead. So definitely one of the more important skills. But then we go on from there to cover linguistics, which is learning languages and creating or detecting forgeries. This can be a handy skill, but again, this is one that we're just going to skip because of our limited skill ranks. This is something that your party's rogue or vigilante or bard is going to want to pick up, or even the investigator. They could pick this up and make incredible use of this. But in your case, if you really need to learn additional languages, just cast the tongue spell. Next is sense motive, also working from wisdom. This is detecting when somebody is lying or getting a sense of if they're withholding something or if something's weighing on them. This is definitely an important skill, and while we're not going to be a face, it could still be worthwhile to have at least some points into this in order to assist and know when somebody is going to be lying. Couple this with the fact that you're going to have all different kinds of spells that will provide utility in non-combat situations, in skill check encounters, and you're probably going to be sitting pretty nice with everything we've got going on here. Now, following on from sense motive, we come around to spellcraft, which is working from intelligence, but this will allow you to identify magic items, effects, craft, and learn spells. So this is going to be incredibly useful, particularly in a fight when there's enemy spellcasters getting ready to fling all kinds of arcane and divine awfulness your way. Knowing what's coming your way is going to be handy because you are able to counterspell those effects, you and any possible arcane casters that are present as well. All of you working together to shut down what the enemy casters are doing is going to be very, very handy and allow you to be a little bit better prepared. Now, the last skill on the list here, it's not a class skill for you, so no +3 miscellaneous bonus when you put a skill rank into it, but perception, working from wisdom, so you've got a good stat bonus going into it. This allows you to spot hidden people, objects. This is the most rolled skill in the game, so it's certainly worth considering, and don't forget that the different domains that you could be selecting from do give different bonuses to different skill, like the animal subdomain, feather domain. That provides a bonus to your perception skill check overall, so that can make you one of the most perceptive characters in the game if you make that selection. So all of this is going to depend just a little bit, but given that we have such a limited pool of skill ranks over the course of the game, you're going to want to pick out some skills to prioritize ahead of time and plan that out. So definitely check with your DM about which knowledge skills are going to be most relevant for your character. They can give you information on that without usually giving up the entire ghost of the game that they have ready to go for you. But certainly knowledge religion, knowledge arcana, and spellcraft are probably going to be some of the most important. Perception is always going to be useful, and sense motive, depending on how well fleshed out your party is with different face skills. Like if you have a bard that is just completely flush with all of these different social skills, you can probably get away with not having so much in sense motive. Maybe just a skill rank, just so you've got that. Got the one skill rank, the +3 miscellaneous modifier, and then a +3 to +4 from your wisdom modifier. Sitting at a +7 or 8 with sense motive is probably going to tide you over for a good chunk of the early game overall. But everything else is also just going to depend. But what do you think? Go on down to the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Did you like today's video? Did you dislike it? Let me know in the comments down below and we'll engage in discussion. And if you've made it this far, you must have enjoyed something up to this point, so why not go down there, hit the subscribe button, and become a regular member here at the Gamers Den. But with all that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. Thank you all so very much for your time. Good gaming to you all, and you all have yourselves a good night.